welcome to the Designer Debrief, where I tell you everything worth knowing in the world of luxury fashion. We talk about news, new collaborations and drops, as well as hot products. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I pack videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Let's kick it off with fashion news. The Lyst Index dropped for Q1 2025, and there were some rather interesting findings. Top 5 brands, I'm going to rattle through them. Number 1 is Loewe. Number 2 is Miu Miu, who was previously holding the number 1 spot. 3 is YSL, 4 is Coach, 5 is Prada. When it comes to Loewe, part of the reason why they're on the top spot is a lot of people are talking about Jonathan Anderson leaving, as well as wanting to grab pieces of his last collection for the brand before he moves on to cough, everybody knows Dior cough. So that is a part of it. His last Paula's Ibiza collection dropped, and his final collection, that I mean like his final bag design as well, the Madrid bag. So what tends to happen, especially when a creative director is really beloved, is when it comes to their final collection, people just want a piece of it as almost like the end of an era, a little memory, a little souvenir of sorts. Chloe also broke into the top 10 at number 9. There is also a Chloe item on the hot products list, but as we know, they've been gaining traction generally because they have brought boho back in a big way. We're talking about Chloe like we've not talked about it for the last 10 plus years sort of thing. So they're doing really well, they're getting people talking. Is the stuff shifting? Question mark, but let's go into the hot products. Topped by Celine's Marco jeans, okay? And why are these popular? Let me bring your mind back to Kendrick Lamar performing at the Super Bowl halftime performance in a pair of flares. The internet went crazy. Where are these from? Flared jeans are in for men. What is going on over here? And through some sleuthing, it was determined that they are the Celine Marco jeans, hence the number 1 spot. Apparently, actually, that performance triggered searches for flares up 412%. Other luxury items on the hot products list, the Saint Laurent Gabby vanity bag. Interesting, but not surprising, right? It's a very sort of like summery vanity bag. I'll be doing a whole video on that sort of topic and this bag in particular coming soon, so keep your eyes open. Also the Miu Miu suede pouch. And you might be a little bit like, why is this, you know, so popular? A couple of things. The Row 90s bag, a similar kind of shape, has also been performing very well, but the girlies love Miu Miu. This comes in a suede. It's also more approachably priced than a lot of other Miu Miu items, so maybe that's part of it. I believe it's around or under the 1,000 mark. Then we have the Chloe ruffled dress. That was in at number 10. I'm not sure how the rankings are done per se, but like I said, I definitely think Chloe is a brand to watch this year. I think it's going to break into that top 5 by the end of the year. So let's see. The next piece of news, an Italian court has put Valentino under judicial administration due to labor exploitation found in the supply chain. So the unit actually that this applies to is Valentino Bags Lab, which obviously creates a majority, if not all, of the Valentino bags, right? Apparently, they subcontracted out this production to a firm found to be exploiting workers. So that is absolutely terrible. And if this sounds familiar, it's because both Dior and Giorgio Armani were put under the same court administration for very, very similar things. Dior's actually recently, so I believe Dior was under this for about a year. Theirs has recently sort of come to an end, and they agreed to pay 2 million euros over 5 years to initiatives that support people who have been exploited in their work, with victims of labour exploitation. That would be the correct sentence, Cassie. And they've committed to adopting much more strict processes for to select and monitor its suppliers. So let's see, and I will keep you updated with the Valentino thing. I mean, it is shocking that this is something that is happening in luxury, because when you pay for luxury, the bare minimum you would hope to be paying for is the fact that whoever is making these bags are in a safe environment and they're being paid a livable wage. That's not all that luxury, is it? Okay, next up, we have a creative director at Balenciaga, and that person is Pier Paolo Piccioli, who is more recently the former creative director of Valentino. He is due to start his job in early July. As we know, Demna has moved into Gucci and the Valentino role was open. Obviously, Balenciaga's been a bit of a weird / interesting one over the last kind of few years / since Demna kind of held the reins, because Balenciaga as a historical fashion brand is very sort of that refined minimalism, elegance, colour blocking, and also these sort of very dramatic and beautiful and feminine structures. And obviously Demna, aside from, you know, any recent issues and all of that, sort of very much turned things on its head and went down this sort of streetwear-y, basically sort of anti a lot of the things that made Balenciaga, which obviously annoyed people who are really interested in the brand for that aesthetic particularly. But also, he was very, very successful. He really was, and you can't really deny that, especially at the beginning of his career at the brand, he did something there that hadn't been done for a while, really. It was huge. And then obviously, but you know, when you carry on doing the same thing, it becomes very predictable. So I'm surprised he's been there for this long. Anyway, I think that Pier Paolo is actually very, very suited to this role. I think everything that he did at Valentino before could be really similarly applied to Balenciaga. I think that this is a new era, a new breath of fresh air for the brand. I'm excited to see it. He's going to present his first show in October of 2025. Chanel is pausing their price increases for this year. Yes, I've done a video about this. I will link it below if you want to go into more detail about it. But essentially, the CFO has said that March and September they're putting a pause on the price increases until they know sort of what's happening with tariffs and economics and all of that fun stuff. So a win is a win, as they say. Another piece of news that has happened this week since I filmed, so apologies for coming in like this, but Maria Grazia has officially stepped down from Dior Women's, which means it is imminent. The announcement that Jonathan Anderson is taking over both. And she showed her last collection for Dior, which was Cruise, and it was phenomenal, to be honest with you. And yeah, I mean, she's done a lot for Dior while she's been there, but also all I need to tell you is that Miss Dior collection. Very commercial, very successful, but yes, I think it's time. The Cruise 2025-2026 shows have been showing, and I just wanted to give you a couple of highlights. Louis Vuitton, when we're really, let's focus on the bags a lot of the time. We've got really interesting takes on the Alma. The Alma really, I feel like, was sitting center stage with the bag offering for Cruise in these really kind of like ornate brocade patterns on them. Lots of sort of gold and, you know, it sort of looks like wallpaper that you would expect to be in Versailles, you know, that kind of vibe, which I thought was really beautiful. But the one bag that actually I think stood out to me the most, which may shock you, is the sort of trunked Alma. So they've taken a very, you know, normal, regular, monogram coated canvas Alma, and it's now got these really great sort of metal hardware pieces on the corners to make it feel a bit more structured and have that sort of trunky vibe. So I really liked that. There's also a nice little monogram clutch that I'm intrigued by. But then we move into Chanel. Chanel has really gone down the raffia route with raffia Kelly bags, raffia flat bags. Obviously it's Cruise, duh. There's also a mini version of the Chanel 25 coming out in case that tickles the old fancy. And there is a cupcake minaudiere that may ring a bell because Charlotte's daughter Lily in Sex and the City, the first movie, has a Judith Lieber cupcake clutch, so that's very cute. This one though seems to be more plastic than metal, but that's just initial pictures. Anyway, Gucci. So we don't really know Demna's involvement in this collection. Personally, from what I think, I've heard from somebody whose essay told them that he did the styling for this show, but I don't think, or I wouldn't put money on the fact that he did any of the designs, because he officially starts in July. But also this collection sort of seemed very much a continuation of the last collection. which was the Gucci design team. Anyway, bags to note. You've got this vintage tiger bag. It does look extremely sort of, you know, like I don't know, like a 70s-ish kind of style with this tiger clasp. And they also had the Giglio, which is now available for purchase. I really like that. It's like a shoulder bag tote. I think it looks really great in the canvas. I like that the handle is encompassed into the bag. It currently comes in the normal GG canvas and in a denim canvas. And then they also have these sort of like makeup-y, toiletry-ish bags in exotics and your normal canvas. Out of all of the cruise collections, the best one in my opinion was Fendi's. The ready-to-wear was phenomenal. Just like the cuts, the way it sits, the way everything looks on every model was just, I don't even know if I have the, it was just clean. It was just sleek, clean. The jackets were fantastic. Really, the majority of the bags were baguettes, the Fendi Mama bag and the Spy bag. And then there was like the odd peekaboo. So obviously the Spy bag is being continued on, and it definitely will be at the very, very least for this year because it's the 100th anniversary of the brand. Then brands have been reporting their financials. Yeah, they're airing their dirty laundry, but there are two brands that have done particularly well. And I wanted to highlight them. The number one, the first one being Cartier. Cartier sales are up 11%. And this might be kind of shocking because, you know, in times of economic uncertainty, you're like, how come the bigger ticket items are being spent on? And that's because it seems to be a safer spend of money. These tend to be things that do not go out of style. They're not trendy. They're something that will be here today. They're going to be here in 10 years time. Something like the Cartier Love Bracelet. It's been around since the 70s and so on and so forth, kind of thing. And also I think that we've been more primed to value fine jewellery than we are clothes, bags and shoes and all of that, especially if you want to sell it on or get rid of it at some point. Ralph Lauren sales are up 8% thanks to Europe and China specifically. So this kind of like really preppy look, I know, sort of sailor, nautically, that kind of rugby shirt vibe, as we can see at Miu Miu, is obviously very much having a moment. And Ralph Lauren, this is their bread and butter. It's also, I think, that kind of like, you know, very sort of American-y, preppy vibe that definitely appeals to, I know me, being a European myself, right? It's definitely got that kind of like appeal to it, so that doesn't surprise me either. Then obviously, just a quick touch on it, fashion's biggest night. The Met Gala was this month, and the Costume Institute at the Met's exhibition this year is super fine, tailoring black style, and the dress code was tailored for you. Now, I did a whole video on this. Again, I will link that below in case you want to go into the nitty-gritty, but there are two celebrities that I didn't mention at all that I wanted to because I really liked his outfit, and then the other one that I didn't really have all the context at the time. Janelle Monáe's reveal. Tom Brown, right? She wore this like overcoat that looked like a suit with a briefcase, and then it was removed and she was in that exact outfit underneath. Loved it, loved the theatre. I thought that was just such a great, phenomenal look. I really, really enjoyed that. And then you had Brian Tyree Henry, who was in Custom Orange Culture Nigeria. And again, I think I just really liked this sort of like West African influence on the red carpet, or the blue carpet in this case. I thought he looked great, and it just looked really sort of like regal, definitely on theme. He had the riding boots as well. 10 out of 10. Moving into new and noteworthy, Gentle Monster has collaborated with Bratz. Yes, Bratz, the Bratz dolls. Who was your favourite? Mine was Yasmin. Anyway, they are doing a collection of 21 pieces of eyewear that I believe are all pocket, so you can fold them, right, into four. So you sort of like fold the arms in and then you fold in at the bridge and it becomes this tiny little thing. And listen, foldable glasses are not a new concept, but I will say, putting them in a tiny pouch that you can put on your bag, I've never heard of such a thing, and I love it, especially with bag charms doing as well as they are doing, and now to do the eyewear and the bag charm trick. Oh, absolutely genius. You've obviously got more simple, easy silhouettes. You've also got something a little bit more statementy with these ones that don't even have lenses. They're just like sort of stars around the eyes that I think are really cute. It's very nostalgic. It's very fun. Gentle Monster is excellent at these collaborations, and they make excellent eyewear in general. general. I don't know if each purchase comes with a Bratz doll. What I was finding online was like a little bit vague, or I don't know if like one particular pair also comes with the Bratz doll. Unclear, but I love it. Then, speaking of Gentle Monster, we've got Google collaborating with Gentle Monster, Kering, and Warby Parker. So, as we know, all these brands are trying to get us to wear smart glasses, okay? And currently the only one I really can remember the name of is the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. But Ray-Ban has a very specific style, and if you don't want something that's, you know, like black rimmed or that Wayfarer style or whatever, then there's not really much for you there, sort of thing. So Google is obviously trying to come out to compete, and I think that this is quite a smart move because Gentle Monster has those like a really, really great design that you've got something for everybody. Warby Parker is again like, I don't know much of them apart from the fact that Nee has Warby Parker glasses and I have blue like Warby Parker glasses. Great optical, you know, I wonder if that's to do the optical side of things. And then Kering, again, oh my gosh, what an absolute, you know, the amount of brands and sunglasses and all of that. You've got Chloe, YSL, Alaya, Bottega, all of that under there. So if they get the design right, honestly, I could be out here filming my little shopping vlogs with them. You know, all I just want is that they're chic. That's really it. Okay. Then we've got Balenciaga and Lamborghini. Yes, this might be the last collaboration under Demna, probably. And it is a collaboration, well, it's technically with Automobili Lamborghini. It's basically ready-to-wear jewellery, accessories with the Lamborghini shield on it, and what else? Yeah, that's it. There we go. This was a great little, not technically a collaboration, but I had to talk about it. Choupette, the famous cat of Karl Lagerfeld, was in Hublot's campaign for the, what anniversary? The 20th anniversary of the Big Bang. Basically, the Big Bang is the watch you think about when you think of a Hublot, right? It's like, it's a hefty, that always used to be my like, one day I'll have a rose gold Big Bang. It's not off the list, okay? One day I shall. But Choupette is in the campaign, and I just thought it was really random, and I enjoyed it, and I felt like you should know as well. Miu Miu have done their upcycled collection yet again. I'm not entirely sure which iteration this is, which number it is, but basically they take vintage pieces and fabrics and Miu Miuify them with various embellishments and sequins and designs and all of that. It's gonna cost you. Arguably, this is the most expensive part of Miu Miu. I wonder what the strategy is there. I would, what is the strategy there? Definitely these are like very much one-off, extremely limited pieces. They're also really pretty, but I shall just be admiring them through a computer screen. Then we have the final drop of the Louis Vuitton Takashi Murakami collection. I believe this is all due to drop, well, this has all dropped. Cassie, get it right, 22nd of May. But I do just want to tell people, if you have missed out, as per the last two drops, I just tried to pester your SA because even I got tagged in a picture of somebody a couple of weeks ago who just got something for the multicolour collection. These are probably going to get like a little bit of a restock, or, you know, pieces will end up coming in stores and whatever. I suspect, am I right? I don't know. But I'm just trying to tell you not to lose faith if you didn't end up getting something. Moving into top products. Okay. We had two big sort of reissue drops this month, currently available. So the first one are the Jimmy Choo, what is it called? The Archive. They have released 8 shoes from their archive. They're actually from the first 5 years of the brand's existence, right? If some of these look very familiar, it's because Carrie Bradshaw has walked a mile in some of these shoes, one of them being the Leo, which are the pair that she wears in the title credits when she's, you know, in front of the bus or whatever in her little tutu. If you look down to her ankles, she's wearing the Jimmy Choo Leo shoes. If I had to pick one, my favourite would be the bow. I just like this juxtaposition of the snout of it being really quite fierce. She's in an embossed python print, right? She's, you know, she's looking a little wild. A little bit, what's the word? Unpredictable. And then you've got it paired with this very sort of dainty bow. I like that it's on the side of the foot. I think that everything, the pitch, all of it just look like that's a great shoe overall. I've done like a couple couple of little short form videos on this, and the majority of the reactions are really positive. People are really liking this style. People are also like, Jimmy Choo should like get back into their old designs sort of thing. I think it's really resonating with people. So there you go. The other launch, Loewe is celebrating the 10th anniversary of the ever fabulous puzzle bag and has launched, I think it's 19 old designs, but it might be 20. Unclear. Either way, they're all going to be here. These are all re-editions of puzzle bags of past collections, and they're all very different in themselves. You've got something like the cowboy, you've got a like green suede varsity one with like that exposed white contrast stitching on it with an L on the corner. Bonus points if your name begins with L. You've also got William Morris collaborations with a buckle on it, so on and so forth. There's a confetti one. There are 2 price points in this collaboration. The more simple ones, I'll have it on the screen, and then there's also a more expensive sort of level as well. Here's the thing, you've got to get in there fast. By the time this comes out, it's either on the day or the day after these have launched. Pester your SA, you will need an SA for this. I managed to get in contact with an SA in London. 2 of the bags had already sold out in pre-order. So not all the countries are getting all of them. I know that the UK has access to all of them. I have no idea about anywhere else. But keep your eyes open, ears to the ground. If you've been wanting a puzzle bag, this is the one to get, okay? And guess what? Sudden wedding. The timing is absolutely atrocious. But there we go. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.